Okay, good evening everyone, this is GP here and let's get started with the session. And my apologies for this delay of a couple of minutes. We are here again with I'm here again with the next session on the DILR Jugaad videos. So let me just get started with this. Just give me 1 second, because when I'm out here, I'll not be able to see the question. So I'm just switching on the YouTube, so that if there are any questions, I will be able to pick up those questions and answer them. Okay, so let's get started now. Okay, yes. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So before we start, the race to 99, the last lap, okay, which is the online session, is on this weekend, Saturday 27th and 28th September. If you miss this is the time to, if you miss the earlier one, the one which are happening offline, do attend this one. And even if you attended the offline sessions, it might still be useful for you to attend this one for two reasons. One, especially from a quant DILR perspective, it is going to be a revision for you. And we did not cover the verbal section in the offline session, so verbal session will be done for all of you by Jijo. Okay. So let's get started with the session. Okay. Okay. As far as the session that we have is concerned, this particular session, we, as usual, we are talking about DILR section, which in CAT 24 had 22 questions to be done in 40 minutes, and we expect that 25 to have the same pattern. Okay. And one of the things that I've been harping continuously is that typically when you look at DILR, 50% marks is a very good score. Okay. 50% marks is a good score. So if you look at the last 5 years papers of CAT, the number of questions has varied from 20 to 24. CAT 24 is 22 questions, CAT 20 is 24, and the 3 years in the middle, 21, 22, 23 is 20 questions each. So the number of marks required was, or let's say, the number of marks, total number of marks in the paper for each of these is given to you. If you look, let's look at where does 50% come. 50% of 72 in CAT 20, which is 36 marks, would have got you a shade above 99 percentile. Okay. What about CAT 21? 30 marks is 50%. It would have been between 90, let's say about it will be 97, 97.5%. In CAT 22, 30 marks would have been again above 99 percentile. And in CAT 23, 30 marks out of which is 50% would have been almost 99.5 percentile. Okay. And CAT 24, 30 marks would have been somewhere about 97 percentile. So when I say 50% is a good score in CAT, depending upon the level of difficulty of the paper, typically 50% marks would mean anything from 97 to 99.5 percentile. Okay. So that is a kind of a benchmark you can look for, take for yourself, that if I'm able to do about half the paper correctly, I am in a good space by and large. Obviously, if I'm able to go higher, it'll be better. Typically, I would say 60% is the outstanding score, 60% marks. Okay. And what 60%? 60% of 60 is 36 marks. So if you look at any of the years, 60% of 66 will be 39.6. So 66% marks typically is going to be around 99.5 or above. Okay. So this is what is important for you, which obviously means that you should be willing to leave questions which are difficult or time-consuming or confusing. Okay. Okay. So what is the Jugaad approach? Just to repeat what I've been saying in the last 20-odd sessions, it's a approach of problem solving. It's not a trick or technique or a shortcut as such. It's a pure approach based on which you, and when you say approach, this means it can be applied to any kind of data set. Okay. What it does is it focuses on using all available information. While most of the students will pick up the information from the data set, most miss out on the information from where the questions and the choices. And that is what is an important source of information which you need to be able to pick up. The focus of Jugaad is on solving questions. Unfortunately, most students are focused on filling the table. My job is not to fill the table, my job is to answer the questions. So the table I create, this particular table, has to be dependent on the questions. So based on the questions and the choices that I have, I will look at what kind of table do we create, what are the components of that table. So it is important that we look at the questions and decide based on that as to how we should solve. Okay. Now, what is DILR? There's a basic tactical guide. D is for decipher, I is for identify, L is for layout, R is for resolve. What this means is you first try to understand, comprehend. D is for decipher or comprehend or understand. So based on the data given to us, your job first of all is to understand that data so that you can decide whether you want to go ahead. If you don't understand the data, there's no point going ahead. Okay. So the starting point will always be, please understand the data. Second part is what we call identify. Identify what? Identify the questions and the information within the question. What do I need to identify? I need to identify which questions are likely to be easy, which questions are likely to be difficult, which questions will help me in using in solving the data set. Okay? Which questions are going to be helpful in solving the data set. So which are helpful questions. So I need to understand which are the questions which are providing me. Helpful means providing me extra more information which will allow me to solve the data set. So these are things which I need to pick up. Secondly, I also need to pick up what is the question asking for, and hence what kind of table do I make. So the table that I create, the layout, the tabulation of data. The tabulation of data again is a function of the questions. Based on the question, I decide what is it that I should tabulate. I will decide what is it I should be. What are the components that are important for me. That is what will depend on the question, and hence identification is important. Not only in terms of question, but also in terms of the kind of table and which question to solve first and which one to later. Resolve happens subsequently, which means resolve means solving the question. Based on all three of them, I will solve the questions. Okay. Now, before we go further, just a quick reminder. I hope you have downloaded the PDF or the exercise or the data set for today. You have downloaded, and not only you have downloaded, you have also solved. Please understand, you should be viewing this session only you should be attending this session only if you have solved the data set. If no, please pause the video. Okay, please pause the video and scan this particular QR code. Scan this QR code, go to the OpenCAT program portal, and here you will have a tab of GP Jugaad in which all the sessions are given. For today's session, you will have only the PDF available to you. The video is not being available. Obviously, PDF will be available effective tomorrow. So what is your job? Download the PDF, solve it yourself, and then go and check the video. Okay? So you go through my solution only after you have solved it. And the same thing has to be done for the earlier sets also. If you have not done these sets so far, please download again each of these separately, solve, check the video. Okay, the process remains the same. Okay, now let's look at CAT 24 slot 2 data set. There's a data set again. A couple of students are saying that the sets I'm picking up are all old sets. Yes, I was picking old sets. I thought the newer sets you would want to do it yourself. But since some of you have said that you would want me to cover the later sets also, I thought I'll pick up a couple of data sets from CAT 24. Okay, so let's look at these data sets and then try to understand what is the right approach. So let's go to the data. Okay. This actually CAT 24, this was my slot. Okay. 8 gymnastic players, numbered 1 through 8, underwent a training program where they were coached by 3 coaches, X, Y, and Z. Each coach trained at least 2 players. White trained only even numbered players. Okay. Each coach at least 2 players. Y trained only even numbered players, while Z trained only odd numbered players. After the camp, the coaches were evaluated. The coaches evaluated the players and gave an integer rating to the respective players trained by them on a scale of 1 to 7. 1 being the lowest and 7 being the highest. Okay. Now, before we move towards solving or doing anything else, let's understand here bola kya hai isne. Okay. Let me do the deciphering part. There are 8 players, 8 gymnasts. There are 8 gymnasts, 1 to 8. Okay. Numbered 1 to 8. Okay. And there are 3 coaches. X, Y, and Z. Okay. Each coach trains greater or equal to 2 players. 2 gymnasts. Let me write down not the word gym player, but gymnasts. Okay. Okay. In addition to this, we also know that Y trained only even numbered players and Z trained only odd numbered players. Okay. And then each of these 8 gymnasts also gets an integer rating. From 1 to 7, 1 being the lowest, 7 being the highest. Okay. So each of these 8 gymnasts were rated on on a scale of 1 to 7 also. Okay. So this is the data that we have understood. Okay. And what would the conventional approach be? Okay, table banao, kaam pe lag jao. Which means what kind of table should you make? Most people say, okay, let's say there's a player. Then we have the coach. And then we have the rating. So using these statements and the information, start filling up. That's what we've done. We have not identified. Let's look at the identification part also. So the decipher we have done, but let's look at what do I say? The identification part also. Now, let's look at question number 1. What best can be concluded about the number of players coached by Zara? What is the minimum number of players coached by Zara? And if you look at the choices, exactly 3, exactly 2 or 3, 2, 3, 4. So you can clearly see this is a question saying, yes, Shad, you may not be able to find all the cases or you may not be able to fill up the table completely. But question 2 and 3 are telling me clearly that rating of players 6 and 7 we will be able to find. And question 4, like question 1, is telling me that there will be cases and we may not be able to find the rating for all of them. Okay. But question 5 is very, very interesting. Okay. Who were all the players trained by Zina? Please look at it. 1, 4. 1 and 4 are part of all the 4 choices. Then 3 choices have 3, 2 have 6, 2 have 8. But 1 and 4 are definitely trained by this particular coach called Zina or X. This very clear. So this question is my Jugaad question because it is giving me the information which I can use to fill up my table. So this is my Jugaad question because it is telling me that before you start doing anything, X के साथ 1 और 4 तो दे दो. ये बता दिया इसने. And if you are able to identify one more thing, supposing you are able to find that player 6 has to be a part of this team, has to be coached by Zina, then player 6 becomes another person. If you say player 8 has to be, so this is a question which will help me eliminate choices or help me fill up the table faster. Okay. So very, very important question. If you don't do the identification, you are going to miss out on this particular issue and end up spending more time to get the correct answer. Okay. So instead of doing the conventional thing, we'll do the Jugaad part. Okay. So chalo, let's get down to work. Okay. Okay. I'll just put the data out here again. Okay. And yeah, 8 gymnasts numbered 1 through 8, trained by 3 coaches, XYZ. Okay. So let me start filling the table as we go on. We have the players of the gymnasts. For the gymnast 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. These are the 8 gymnasts that we have. Second thing, there are 3 coaches, X, Y, and Z. X, Y, and Z. Okay. Each coach trained at least 2 players. Yuki trained even numbered players, only even numbered players. Zara trained only odd numbered players. Okay. So who are the players who are in the consideration set for Yuki? The even numbered players. Okay. Yuki trained only even number, so 2, 4, 6, 8. So this is going to be from here only 2, 4, 6, 8. Similarly, Zara, whom would he or she train? 1, 3, 5, 7. Now, will it be all of these? No. It is going to be some of these. Why? Because remember, the first statement said each coach trained at least 2 players. Each coach trained at least 2 players. That means there has to be some people here also. So this is the consideration set. How many of them are part of Y and Z and X? We'll find out as we go along. Okay. Chalo, let's go further. Okay. Okay. After the camp, the coaches evaluated the player, gave integer ratings to the respective players on a scale of 1 to 7, 1 being the lowest and 7 being the highest. So ratings are from 1 to 7, and these are integer ratings. And each coach trains greater than or equal to 2. Okay. So gymnasts for each of them will be greater than or equal to 2. So minimum 2 for each. Okay. So that means each coach will train either 2, 3, or 4 players. Okay. I don't need to write it down. I'm just writing down for the reference for you. I'll erase it now. Okay. So that means each coach can train maximum of 4, because if, for example, Z gets 4, then this will be 2 and this will have to be 2. So maximum anyone can coach is 4. If it is 5, 2 and 1, not possible. Then X has less than 2, so not possible. So it is telling me each coach will either train 2 or 3 or 4. So do you have there? Okay. Now, to me, as I said, what was important is question number 5. I already know players 1 and players 4 are coached by X. So why should I waste my time? I will straight away write down the name of the coach for 1 and 4. 1 and 4 are X. So I can straight away say this is 1 and this is 4. That means 4 cannot be trained by Y and 1 cannot be trained by Z. Okay. Okay. So this is the basic stuff that I have already copied. Okay. Obviously, question 1, 2, 3, 4 cannot help me. Okay. Okay. But what is also interesting out here, I hope you have picked up that these 3 questions are talking about rating. While question 1 and question 5 are talking about the number of players who are the players who are coached by different, who are trained by different coaches. Okay. So we already have this situation with us, that coach X out here for 1 and 4 based on question number 5. So ये जुगाड़ पहले ही लगा दिया. Next, Zina trained more players than Yuki. Okay. Zina is more than Yuki. Okay. So X trained more players than Y. X trained more people than Y. Okay. Now, players 1 and 4. Players 1 and 4 were trained by the same coach. We already know that. We have already picked up. But out here, had we not picked it up from question 5, तो क्या करना पड़ता? We would have to find out इनको किसने कोच किया है. Okay? थोड़ा extra effort लगता. ज़्यादा मुश्किल नहीं, but हो जाता. But यहाँ पे जब सवाल ने दे दिया, why should I worry about it? While coaches who trained players 2, 3, and 5 were all different. 2, 3, and 5 were different. Who can coach 2, 3, and 5? They're different coaches. So if 2 is coached by Y out here, And between 3 and 5, one coached by Z, one coached by X. Okay. So between 3 and 5, one person will have to be coached by Z, one person by X. Okay. Now, please look at the choice again of question number 5. Is player 5 available to be coached in question number 5 by Zina? No. As far as question 5, it says coached by Zina. We have 1, 3, 4, 6, 8 among the choices. We have only players 1, 3, 4, 6, and 8. That means player 5 has not been coached by Zina and has to be coached by UK by Zara. And who's the player? So if player 5 is coached by Zara and and player 2 by Y, that means X or Zina will coach player 3. So I should add a 3 also out here. So 1, 3, and 4 are definitely with X. So 3 is gone. Now, which are the players who are coached by Z? These two. Because minimum there are two players with each coach. So 5 and 7. Similarly, if I look at this, Y. As far as Y is concerned, 2 is definitely coached by Y. What about 6 and 8? Okay. Now, at this point of time, 1, 3, and 4, X is 1, 3, 4, so 3 players, and Y is 2, 6, 8, so 3 players. But as per statement 1, the number of players coached by X is greater than Y. That means out of these two, one of them will have to come here. And how many players will be coached by X then? 4. Right now it is 3. Right now the number of players coached by X is 3. Between 6 and 8, one of them will have to move here. Otherwise, X will be equal to Y number of 20s. So it will become 3 plus 1 and Y will become 3 out of 2, 6, 8. 2 is definitely here. And between 6 and 8, one person will have to move out to X. So, and that is visible here also. So what is it? 1, 3, 4 and either 6 or 8. So which choices get eliminated? Choice 1 gets eliminated because we need 1 of 6 and 8 also. 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 4, 6, 8. No. That means question 5, players coached by Zina can be 1, 3, 4 and 6 or 8. Okay. This much we have got. So how many players are coached by X? Coached by X becomes 3 plus 1 equal to 4. Z already is 2 and Y will also be 2. Question number 1. What best can be concluded about number of players coached by Zara? Exactly 2. Question 5 helped us. Okay. Now let's start putting the coaches. 1, 3, and 4 are coached by X. 1, 3, and 4 by X. Okay. 2 is definitely coached by Y. 6 and 8 we don't know who's coached by X and who's coached by Y. So we'll come back to them later. Okay. And Z coaches 5 and 7. So we do not know the coach of 6 and 8 at this point of time. And which is why I said answer to question 5 can either be choice 2 or 3. We don't know which is the one. Okay. Chalo. Let's go to the next statement. Statement 3. Players 5 and 7 were trained by the same coach and got the same rating. 5 and 7 trained by the same coach. Yes, we already know. Using question 5, हमने पहले इसको कर लिया, उसकी चिंता नहीं करेंगे. But both of them had the same rating. So if the rating of, let's say, 5 and 7, for both of them the rating is, let's say, A each. Okay. All other players got the unique rating. Okay. So other players 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 8. So who are the other players? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 8 got a unique rating. That means whatever rating 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8 got, they are different numbers. Okay. They are different numbers. Okay. And as far as 5 and 7 are concerned, they got the same rating. Okay, next one. Average rating of all players was 4. Now look at these numbers 1 to 7. If I look at these numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now all these players have got unique rating. Okay. So each one of them should be one of these numbers, and there cannot be any overlap. Average is 4. What is the average of numbers from 1 to 7? 4. So the average is 4. All these 7 numbers are represented. What does that mean? That means that player 5 and 7, both of them have to be 4. Why? If look at this way, if both players 5 and 7 are 5, rating 5, will the average be 4? No. Average of numbers from 1 to 7 is 4. So if the average has to be maintained, you need another 4. Okay. So only if the next number also is 4, will the average be maintained. That means rating of 5 and 7 is 4. Okay. Average rating of both 5 and 7 is 4. Okay. And what about the others? All the others will have distinct ratings. So 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7 will be the rating of the remaining 6 people. No commonality of rating among the remaining people. Okay. Question statement 5. Player 2 got the highest rating. So player 2 gets 7. Statement 6. The average ratings of players trained by Yuki was twice of the player trained by Zina. Okay. Trained by Zina, and 2 more than that of players trained by Zala. Okay. Okay. We'll come back to this statement later. And that is not trained, that is trained. Okay. I'll come back to this statement later. We have used statement 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Statement 6 is pending. We'll come to it later. Statement 7. Player 4's rating was double of player 8 and less than player 5. What are the ratings of players 1, 4, 8, and 5? 4 and 8 we don't know, but player 5 has a rating of 4. Okay. So let's look at this. Player 4 and player 8. Okay, let me write it here. Okay, you have. Okay, let me erase this also. So if we look at player 4, player 8, and player 5. Okay. Player 4, player 8, and player 5. Player 4's rating was double of player 8 and less than player 5. What is player 5's rating? Player 5's rating is 4. So what will be the rating of player 4 and player 8? It will be 1 and 2. Can it be 2 and 4? No. It has to be rating of player 8 is less than that of player 5, so not possible. So there's the only combination available to us, 1 and 2. So player 4 has a rating of 1 and player 8 has a rating of 2. Oh, ulta likh diya. I'm sorry. Player 4 Player 4's rating was double of player 8. So if player 8 is 1, player 4 will be 2. If player 8 is 2, player 4 becomes 4, which is not possible because this has to be less than the other one. Okay? So that means only one case possible. So rating of player 4 will be 2 and player 8 is going to be 1. Okay. Now, next question. Okay. Next question. So I'm just erasing the one which are not relevant now. Yeah. So out here in Z we have 5 and 7. Between 6 and 8, one person will go here and one person will go to X and one person will remain. So either 6 or 8 remain here and hence 8 or 6 will come to X. Okay. Now what do we do next? Look at statement number 6. Okay. Before that, any question we can answer? Any question? Question 1 we have answered. Rating of player 7. What is the rating of player 7? We already got questions. Answer for this question as 4. Rating of player 7 is 4. Rating of player 6 we need to find out. For how many players the ratings can be determined with certainty? Again, we don't know at that. Let's go further. Okay. Now, what is it saying? The average rating of players trained by Yuki was twice the rating of that of Zina. What is the rating of players trained by Zina? I don't know. I don't know the ratings of all of them. which trainers Stone's rating do you know? Okay. Average of trainees of Zara we know it is 4. Zara is both two trainers, two players, both have a rating of 4. So average for Stones with Zara is going to be 4. Average rating for Zara players is 4. Okay. What does it say? Average rating of players trained by Yuki was twice that of Zina and 2 more than that of Zara. So look at this. Average rating of players trained by Yuki was 2 more than that of players trained by Zara. Zara's Stones have an average of 4, so Yuki Stones will have an average of 6. Right? Now, what is the rating of player 2? It's 7. If the average of Y has to be 7 and there are 2 players, the total should be 12. Right? Total should be 12. That means out of 6 and 8, one of them will have a rating of 5. Okay. Out of 6 and 8, one of them will have a rating of 5. Okay. Whether it is 6 or 8, I don't know at this point of time. Okay. Chalo. And what will be the rating of players rating? Sorry, there's 8. I'm sorry, my mistake. 6 has a rating has 5 and this is 1. Okay. So if average rating of players under Yuki, okay, let me just take this again. If the average rating of players under Yuki is 6 and there are 2 players with Yuki, the sum of rating should be 12. So if this is 7, rating for player 2 is 7 and rating for player 8, rating for player 8 is 1. That means this will be 7 plus 1, 8. What does that mean? 8 cannot belong to Yuki. 8 has to be with Zina and 6 has to be with Yuki. Again, I am repeating the average, the rating for 8, player 8 is 1 and player 2 is 7. So if it is player 2 and 8 with Yuki, the total is going to be 7 plus 1, 8 and the average will be 4, but the average has to be 6. So that means 8 has to be with Zina and has a rating of 1. And what will be the rating of 6? If the average is 6 and the total and the sum of rating has to be 12. If player 2 has a rating of 7, player 6 will have a rating of 5. Okay. And 5. Okay. What will be the average rating of players with Zina? Okay. The average rating trained by Yuki was twice of that of Zina. So rating of players with Yuki is 6. So rating of players with Zina will be 3. Right? Which are the ratings we already know? 1, 3, 4. 1 we don't know. 3 we don't know. 4 has a rating of 2. And so 1 and 2. What does this mean? Now let's look at it. What are the ratings already taken care of? 7 gone. 7, 2, 4. 7, 2. There are 2 4s. Both of them gone. 7, 2, 4, 5, 1. What are the 2 ratings left? 3 and 6. That means out of the remaining 2 players, 1 and 3, one of them will have a rating of 3, other will have 6. You can verify also to see the sum of ratings of players trained by Zina should be 12. Does it come out? 2 plus 1, 3, 3 and 6, 9, 9 and 3, 12. Yes, it comes out. Okay. So for how many players can we find the rating? Between 1 and 3, one of them will have a rating of 3, another will be 6. Okay. So it is one of these. So what should be the answer for how many players the rating can be determined with certainty? It is going to be 6. And we have also solved question number 5. It is who are the players with Zina? 1, 3, 4 and 8. 1, 3, 4, 8. Choice 3 becomes the correct answer. So if you look at this set, not a difficult one as such, but this is very clearly telling you that if you look at the choices, even an easy set becomes easier. A difficult set definitely becomes easy, but an easy set becomes easier and you will be able to do it faster. Yeah. So this is from the CAT 24 slot 2 set. Yeah. Incidentally, if you notice, मैंने इसकी bother नहीं किया because जरूरत नहीं पड़ी. जितना जरूरत है उतना काम करना है, अननेसेसरी ज्यादा काम नहीं करना है. Okay. So hopefully this helps you, and this concludes the session for me. In case you have any issues, you want to connect with me, my phone number is 9811555160, and my email ID is gp@careerlauncher.com. So please feel free to connect with me if you have any issues. And with respect to this set, my suggestion would be try doing it without question 5 also. You should be able to solve it, and see by using question number 5 how much time we have been able to save. My guess is we have saved about 3-4 minutes, if not more. Okay. So that's it from my side. I don't see any. Okay. Do I see any questions? Let me see. Let me just see if there are any questions out here. I can see questions, so I guess it is fine. So I'll stop here then. And if there are any questions, feel free to connect with me. Yes, and the CL app has been launched. You can download it and make it your preparation companion. Okay. So that's it from my side. All the best. We'll meet again next week.